Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to Saturday live stream. Uh, First things first, as usual, comment of the week. And today's comment of the week, let me get up here. It shouldn't take this long to get it up, because I already have it up, but YouTube wants to be stupid, so what can I say? Alrighty, so it is under Jehovah's Witnesses philosophy of history, no music. And it is Vusi Mingomezulu. Sorry, man, if I got your name wrong. At any rate, he or she says, why other people don't respect the Bible. They busy fighting, criticizing, hating, attacking Jehovah's Witnesses, and then bunch of Bible verses, or it's a sign that Jehovah's Witnesses are true Christians, as Jesus Christ said, and then a bunch of Bible verses. Alrighty. Well, Vusi, why other people don't respect the Bible? Basically because it's a stupid book. It is not historically or scientifically accurate. And people who think so, I'm not saying people who think that the Bible is scientifically and historically accurate are stupid, but I am saying they are brainwashed. So if you think that the Bible is scientifically and historically accurate, you are brainwashed. And I can't put that another way because that's just how it is. And I tell it how it is. All right. So let's go on to your next sentence. They busy fighting, criticizing, hate attacking Jehovah's Witnesses. No, Vusi, I am not fighting, criticizing, hating, or attacking individual Jehovah's Witnesses. I am attacking the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses because they need to be attacked. Okay? This organization has hurt enough people and it needs to come down. And, or it's a sign that Jehovah's Witnesses are true Christians, as Jesus Christ said. First of all, there was no Jesus Christ. Second of all, I don't really care if you're a true Christian because it doesn't really matter to me because your Bible is shit. And I don't know why you people think that we care what your Bible says because we don't. So, I tried finding something interesting on Today in History. Hey, Nevermore. Um, didn't really find anything, although I did look. So we're just going to go on making fun of the Bible. Oh, really, Vandalia? Uh, yeah, well, when 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 you take your God glasses off, as Ken Ham likes to say, you learn a bunch of shit. So, yeah, take your God glasses off, Ken Ham. You'll learn a bunch of shit. All right, Numbers 27. The daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, belonged to the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Why the fuck do they have to give all these names? Just asking. The names of the daughters were Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came forward and stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the leaders, and the whole assembly at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and said, "Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among Korah's followers, who banded together against the Lord, but he died for his own sin and left no sons. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan because he had no son? Give us property among our father's relatives." Fair point, Zelophehad's daughters. So Moses brought their case before the Lord. Why? That's just common sense. I mean, give them their fucking property anyway, even if they do have brothers. But why do you have to take it before the Lord? And the Lord said to him, "What Zelophehad's daughters are saying is right. You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives, and give their father's inheritance to them. Say to the Israelites, if a man dies and leaves no son, give his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father had no brothers, give his inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan that he may possess it. This is to have the force of law for the Israelites, as the Lord commanded Moses." Yeah, Vendel, yeah, I believe so. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go up this mountain in the Abiram range and see the land I have given the Israelites. After you have seen it, you too will be gathered to your people, as your brother Aaron was. For when the community rebelled at the waters of the desert of Zin, both of you disobeyed my command to honor me as holy before their eyes. These were the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin." Well, gee fucking whiz, God. Great. Hey, Mr. Shadow Kitty, why don't you just tease him with what he can't have, you fucking moron? Verse 15. Moses said to the Lord, "May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all living things, appoint someone over this community to go out and come in before them, one who will lead them out and bring them in, so the Lord's people will not be like sheep without a shepherd." So the Lord said to Israel, "Take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit of leadership, and lay your hand on him. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and the entire assembly, and commission him in their presence. Give him some of your authority, so the whole Israelite community will obey him. He is to stand before Eleazar the priest, who will obtain decisions for him by inquiring of the Urim before the Lord. At his command, he and the entire community of the Israelites will go out, and at his command, they will come in. Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and had him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole assembly. Then he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as the Lord instructed through Moses. Don't forget Caleb, Vandalia. Caleb's also the one. Those are the only two. Okay. So, golly gee willikers, God, can't you just talk to Joshua the way you did to Moses? Hell, you get weaker and weaker and weaker as the chapters pass in the Bible. What the fuck kind of God are you that you can't talk to Joshua the way you talk to Moses? I mean, seriously? You have to do this divination, which, according to you, God, is against God's law, but you want them to do divination to get your message anyway, so what the fuck? Verse 28, or chapter 28, rather. The Lord said to Moses, give this command to the Israelites and say to them, make sure you present to me at the appointed time my food offerings as an aroma pleasing to me. Say to them, this is the food offering you are to present to the Lord, 2 lambs a year old without defect, as a regular burnt offering each day. Offer 1 lamb in the morning and the other at twilight, together with a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil from pressed olives. They're gonna lose a lot of livestock, God. Don't you fucking care about your people? I guess you don't. I mean, you did tell them to wander in the wilderness for 40 years until everyone died except Joshua and Caleb. Verse 6. This is the regular burnt offering instituted at Mount Sinai as a pleasing aroma of food offering presented to the Lord. The accompanying drink offering is to be 1/4 of a hin of fermented drink with each lamb. Pour out the drink offering to the Lord at the sanctuary. Offer the second lamb at twilight, along with the same kind of grain offering and drink offering that you offer in the morning. This is a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. And you just wasted 2 lambs and good wine and a bunch of other shit. Hey, Geo. Verse 9. On the Sabbath day, make an offering of 2 lambs, a year old without defect, together with its drink offering and a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. This is the burnt offering for every Sabbath, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know, Mr. Shadow Kitty. Verse 11. On the first of every month. Oh, great. So now we've got daily offerings, weekly offerings, monthly offerings. We've got festivals, including the Passover. What the fuck? Verse 11. On the first of every month, present to the Lord a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each bull there is to be a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With the ram, a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil, and with each lamb a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. This is for a burnt offering, a pleasing aroma, a food offering presented to the Lord. With each bull there is to be a drink offering of half a hin of wine, with the ram a third of a hin, and with each lamb a quarter of a hin. This is the monthly burnt offering to be made at each new moon during the year. Besides the regular burnt offering, with its drink offering, 1 male goat is to be presented to the Lord as a sin offering. And all the priests died of lung cancer because of all the smoke. Verse 16. On the 14th day of the first month, the Lord's Passover is to be held. On the 15th day of this month, there is to be a festival. For 7 days, eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Present to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each bull offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil, with the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. Offer these in addition to the regular morning burnt offering. In this way, present the food offering every day for 7 days as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. It is to be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 7th day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Alrighty, moving right along. Verse 26. On the day of first fruits. So this is another festival. Jesus fucking Christ. How many festivals do these people have? Not that they were ever, I mean, in, in the Old Testament, they were never observed, okay? Um, in fact, this wasn't quote unquote found until Josiah's time, when Josiah quote unquote fixed up the temple and the priests quote unquote found the law of Moses in the decrepit temple. Verse 26. On the day of first fruits, when you present to the Lord an offering of new grain during the festival of weeks, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Present a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. With each bull there is to be a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat to make atonement for you. Offer these together with their drink offerings, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. Be sure the animals are without defects. And yeah, I'm repeating myself because this damn book repeats itself. So, not my fault, people. Chapter 29. On the first day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. It is a day for you to sound the trumpets. As an aroma pleasing to the Lord, offer a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. With the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. These are in addition to the monthly and daily burnt offerings with their grain offerings and drink offerings as specified. They are food offerings presented to the Lord, a pleasing aroma. Can I just ask? Can I just ask, why does God need food? Why does God need food? Somebody please, in the comments, answer that question for me. Why does God need food? It's plain as day. It's a food offering. Verse 7. On the 10th day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly. You must deny yourselves and do no work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. Vandalia, why don't you ask Ken Ham that? I swear to God, looking like he looks, I have no clue how he can deny evolution. Verse 12. On the 15th day of the 7th month, hold. Wait a minute. So on day 10 of the 7th month, they've got a festival. And on day 15 of the 7th month, they've got a festival. So when the fuck are they going to do any work in the 7th month? Celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each of the 13 bulls. Oh, nice. We get a Now we have 13 bulls. Wow. Where are they going to get 13 bulls from? Just asking. Verse 13, present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. I don't know where they get the 13 and the 14 from, because they are not numbers that reoccur in the Bible. Verse 14, with each of the 13 bulls offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With each of the 2 rams, 2/10, and with each of the 14 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Way to go, God. Why don't you just starve your people while you're at it? Verse 17. On the second day, offer 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the third day, offer 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bull, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the fourth day, offer 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Verse 26. On the fifth day, offer 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the sixth day, offer 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. See, like I said, he's gonna starve his own people to death. Verse 32. On the seventh day, offer 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Verse 35. On the 8th day, hold a closing special assembly and do no regular work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bull, the ram, and the lambs offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include one male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. In addition to what you vow and your freewill offerings, offer these to the Lord at your appointed festivals, your burnt offerings, your grain offerings, drink offerings, and fellowship offerings. Moses told the Israelites all that the Lord commanded him. Fucking no, God, you ain't getting no free will offerings from me. Not with all the fucking rams and lambs and bulls and all that bullshit that you want. Hey, Marianne. Ain't getting no free will offerings from me. Of course, he doesn't exist anyway, but, you know, we're saying let's pretend. By the way, I do have my Let's Pretend line on Teespring if you want to go check that out. Chapter 30. Moses said to the heads of the tribes of Israel, "This is what the Lord commands. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by a pledge, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. When a young woman still living in her father's household makes a vow to the Lord or obligates herself by a pledge, and her father hears about her vow or pledge, but says nothing to her, then all her vows and every pledge by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her father forbids her when he hears about it, none of her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. The Lord will release her because her father has forbidden her." How very misogynistic can you get? But we already know this is a book of misogyny and war crimes and all that shit. So, don't surprise me. Verse 6. If she marries after she makes a vow, or after her lips utter a rash promise by which she obligates herself and her husband hears about it, but says nothing to her, then her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself stand. But if her husband forbids her, when he hears about it, he nullifies the vow that obligates her or the rash promise by which she obligates herself, and the Lord will release her. Again, misogynist. Verse 9. Any vow or obligation taken by a widow or divorced woman will be binding on her. If a woman living with her husband makes a vow or obligates herself by a pledge under oath, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her and does not forbid her, then all her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband nullifies them when he hears about them, then none of the vows or pledges that came from her lips will stand. Her husband has nullified them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or nullify any vow she makes or any sworn pledge to deny herself. But if her husband says nothing to her about it from day to day, then he confirms all her vows or the pledges binding on her. He confirms them by saying nothing to her when he hears about them. If, however, he nullifies them sometime after he hears about them, then he must bear the consequences of her wrongdoing. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife and between a father and his young daughter still living at home. And what happened to every person shall bear their own sin? I guess you forgot about that one, God. I mean, after all, you do have Alzheimer's. I mean, we gotta make some some leeway for you. That was all the way back in Exodus. Chapter 31. The Lord said to Moses, "Take vengeance on the Midianites for the Israelites. After that, you will be gathered to your people." Okay, so what God is saying basically is, you know what? The Midianites pissed me off a long time ago. When you asked to go through their land, they said, "No, we're not going to let you go through our land." Okay. And God's like, "They pissed me off, so go lead them into battle. And after that, I'm going to kill you." Yeah, right, Nevermore. "And after that, I'm going to kill you and then bury you somewhere where nobody has a fucking clue where you are." Verse 3. So Moses said to the people, "Arm some of your men and go to war against the Midianites, so that they may carry out the Lord's vengeance on them. Send into battle 1,000 men from each of the tribes of Israel." So 12,000 men armed for battle, 1,000 from each tribe, were supplied from the clans of Israel. Moses sent them into battle, 1,000 from each tribe, along with Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, who took with him articles from the sanctuary and the trumpets for signaling. They fought against Midian as the Lord commanded Moses, and killed every man. Among their victims were Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. Why the fuck do we care about their victims? They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. Why the fuck are you killing your own prophet? This is why I wouldn't worship this God, even if he was real. He's the son of a bitch, killing his own prophet. What the fuck is all that about? Verse 9. The Israelites captured the Midianite women and children, and took all the Midianite herds, flocks, and goods as plunder. They burned all the towns where the Midianites had settled, as well as all their camps. They took all the plunder and spoils, including the people and animals, and brought the captive spoils and plunder to Moses and Eleazar the priest and the Israelite assembly at their camp on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. Sounds like post hoc rationalization to me, Vandalia. Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the commander of thousands and commanders of hundreds, who returned from the battle. Why the fuck is he mad at them? Oh, verse 15. "Have you allowed all the women to live?" he asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord in the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people. Now kill all the boys, and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourself every girl who has never slept with a man. Great God, why don't you just say sex slavery is okay? Because that's basically what you just did. Verse 19. Anyone who has killed someone or touched someone who was killed must stay outside the camp 7 days. Well, that's great, God. I'd just refuse to do it then. Be like, yeah, go kill your own fucking people, God, if that's what you want. I ain't fucking doing it. On the 3rd and 7th day, you must purify yourselves and your captives. Purify every garment as well as everything made of leather, goat hair, or wood. Why? Why? Doesn't make any sense. Of course, why would I expect anything in this fucking book to make sense? I know, right, Nevermore? Verse 21. Then Eleazar the priest said to the soldiers who had gone into battle, "This is what is required by the law that the Lord gave Moses. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, lead, and anything else that can withstand fire must be put through the fire, and then it will be clean. But it must also be purified with the water of cleansing, and whatever cannot withstand fire must be put through that water. On the 7th day, wash your clothes, and you will be clean. Then you may come into the camp." Yeah, because God really needs gold, silver, bronze, and iron. You heard it here first, folks. Verse 25. The Lord said to Moses, "You and Eleazar the priest and the family heads of the community are to count all the people and animals that were captured. Divide the spoils equally between the soldiers who took part in the battle and the rest of the community. From the soldiers who fought in the battle, set apart as tribute for the Lord, one out of every 500, whether people, cattle, donkeys, or sheep. Take this tribute from their half share and give it to Eleazar the priest as the Lord's part. From the Israelites have select one out of every 50, whether people, cattle, donkey, sheep, or other animals. Give them to the Levites who are responsible for the care of the Lord's tabernacle." So Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded. I don't know what the fuck he just said. Just sounded like a bunch of bloody blah to me. And I'm the one that read it. Verse 32. The plunder remaining from the spoils that the soldiers took was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who had never slept with a man. The half share of those who fought in the battle was, just a thought, how do they know that these women never slept with men? I mean, do they like have an age limit or something? My mind goes to the strangest places when I read this fucked up book. 337,500 sheep, of which the tribute for the Lord was 675. 36,000 cattle, of which the tribute for the Lord was 72. 30,500 donkeys, of which the tribute for the Lord was 61. 16,000 people, of whom the tribute for the Lord was 32. Moses gave the tribute to Eleazar the priest as the Lord's part, as the Lord commanded Moses. The half belonging to the Israelites, which Moses set apart from that of the fighting men, the community's half, was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 people. From the Israelites' half, Moses selected one out of every 50 people and animals as the Lord commanded him, and gave them to the Levites, who were responsible for the care of the Lord's tabernacle. Then the officers who were over the units of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, went to Moses and said to him, "Your servants have counted the soldiers under our command, and not one is missing. So we have brought as an offering to the Lord the gold articles each of us acquired, armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before the Lord." Moses and Eleazar the priest accepted from them the gold, because God's got to have gold, right? God's always got to have gold. Verse 52. All the gold from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds that Moses and Eleazar presented as a gift to the Lord weighed 16,750 shekels. I find that very hard to believe. Verse 53. Each soldier had taken plunder for himself. Moses and Eleazar the priest accepted the gold from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting as a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord. Chapter 32. More or less done. Imagine that. The Reubenites and Gadites, who had very large herds and flocks, saw that the lands of Jazer and Gilead were suitable for livestock. So they came to Moses and Eleazar the priest, and to the leaders of the community, and said, "Ataroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Sebam, Nebo, and Beon, the land the Lord subdued before the people of Israel, are suitable for livestock, and your servants have livestock. If we have found favor in your eyes," they said, "let this land be given to your servants as our possession. Do not make us cross the Jordan." Moses said to the Gadites and Reubenites, "Should your fellow Israelites go to war while you sit here? Why do you discourage the Israelites from crossing over into the land the Lord has given them? This is what your fathers did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to look over the land. After they went up to the valley of Eshcol and viewed the land, they discouraged the Israelites from entering the land the Lord had given them. The Lord's anger was aroused that day, and he swore this oath: "Because they have not followed me wholeheartedly, not one of them," hang on, lost my place. "Because they have not followed me wholeheartedly, not one of those who were 20 years old or more when they came up out of Egypt will see the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not one, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, son of Nun, for they followed the Lord wholeheartedly. The Lord's anger burned against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until the whole generation of those who had done evil in his sight was gone. And here you are, a brood of sinners, standing in the place of your fathers, and making the Lord even more angry with Israel. If you turn away from following him, He will again leave all this people in the wilderness, and you will be the cause of their destruction. Fuck you, God. I would go back to Egypt. In fact, you know what? I would have said fuck you, God, a long time ago. Verse 16. Then they came up to him and said, we would like to build pens here for our livestock and cities for our women and children, but we will arm ourselves for battle and go ahead of the Israelites until we have brought them to their place. Meanwhile, our women and children will live in fortified cities for protection from the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our homes until each of the Israelites has received their inheritance. We will not receive any inheritance with them on the other side of the Jordan, because our inheritance has come to us on the east side of Jordan. Then Moses said to them, if you will do this, if you will arm yourselves before the Lord for battle, and if all of you who are armed cross over the Jordan before the Lord until he has driven his enemies out before him, then when the land is subdued before the Lord, you may return and be free from your obligation to the Lord and to Israel, and this land will be your possession before the Lord. But if you fail to do this, you will be sinning against the Lord, and you may be sure that your sin will find you out. Build cities for your women and children and pens for your flocks, but do what you have promised. The Gadites and Reubenites said to Moses, we are your servants, will do as our Lord commands. Our children and wives, our flocks and herds will remain here in the cities of Gilead, but your servants, every man who is armed for battle, will cross over to fight before the Lord, just as our Lord says. Then Moses gave orders about them to Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun, and to the family heads of the Israelite tribes. He said to them, if the Gadites and Reubenites, every man armed for battle, cross over the Jordan with you before the Lord, then when the land is subdued before you, you must give them the land of Gilead as their possession. But if they do not cross over with you armed, they must accept their possession with you in Canaan. The Gadites and Reubenites answered, your servants will do what the Lord has said. We will cross over before the Lord into Canaan armed, but the property we inherit will be on this side of Jordan. Then Moses gave to the Gadites, the Reubenites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the whole land with its cities and the territory around them. Now I want you to think of something, okay? At the time this was supposedly written, these people did not exist. The Amorites and the um and the um and Sihon and Og. I mean, they didn't exist. Okay, so I call bullshit, and you should too. Anybody who knows the archaeology of the Middle East, even a little bit, knows this is bullshit. Okay, verse 34. The Gadites built up Dibon, Adaroth, Aror, Atroth, Shofan, Jazer, Jogbehah, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Horon as fortified cities, and built pens for their flocks. And the Reubenites rebuilt Heshbon, Elealeh, and Kiriathaim, as well as Nebo and Baal-meon. These names were changed, and Sibmah. They gave names to the cities they rebuilt. The descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh, went to Gilead, captured it, and drove out the Amorites who were there. So Moses gave Gilead to the Machirites, the descendants of Manasseh, and they settled there. Jair, a descendant of Manasseh, captured their settlements and called them Havoth Jair. And Noba captured Kenath and its surrounding settlements and called it Noba after himself. Chapter 33. Here are the stages in the journey of the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt by divisions under the leadership of Moses and Aaron. At the Lord's command, Moses recorded the stages in their journey. This is their journey by stages. Verse 3. The Israelites set out from Ramses on the 15th day of the first month, the day after the Passover. They marched out defiantly in full view of all the Egyptians who were burying all their firstborn, whom the Lord had struck down among them, for the Lord had brought judgment on their gods. I call bullshit. Never happened. Verse 5. The Israelites left Ramses and camped at Succoth. They left Succoth and camped at Etham on the edge of the desert. They left Etham, turned back to Pi Hahiroth to the east of Baal Zephon, and camped near Migdol. They left Pi Hahiroth and passed through the sea into the desert, and when they had traveled for 3 days in the desert of Etham, they camped at Marah. They left Marah and went to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there. They left Elim and camped by the Red Sea. They left the Red Sea and camped in the desert of Sin. They left the desert of Sin and camped at Dophkah. They left Dophkah and camped at Elish. They left Elish and camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They left Rephidim and camped in the desert of Sinai. They left the desert of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hattaavah. They left Kibroth Hattaavah and camped at Hazareth. They left Hazareth and camped at Rithmah. They left Rithmah and camped at Rimmon Perez. They left Rimmon Perez and camped at Libnah. They left Libnah and camped at Rissa. They left Rissa and camped at Kehelatha. They left Kehelatha and camped at Mount Shephar. They left Mount Shephar and camped at Harada. They left Harada and camped at Mehiloth. They left Mehiloth and camped at Tahoth. They left Tahoth and camped at Tira. They left Tira and camped at Mithkah. They left Mithkah and camped at Hashmonah. They left Hashmonah and camped at Meseroth. They left Meseroth and camped at Ben Jockin. They left Ben Jockin and camped at Hor Haggidgad. They left Hor Haggidgad and camped at Jotbetha. They left Jotbetha and camped at Abrona. They left Abrona and camped at Ezion Geber. They left Ezion Geber and camped at Kadesh in the desert of Zin. Why the fuck are you telling us all of this? It's all made up anyway. So why are you bothering? Verse 37. They left Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor, on the border of Edom. At the Lord's command, Aaron the priest went to Mount Hor, where he died on the first day of the 5th month of the 40th year after the Israelites came out of Egypt. Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. I doubt that. Verse 40. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev of Canaan, heard that the Israelites were coming. They left Mount Hor and camped at Zalmunna. They left Zalmunna and camped at Punan. They left Punan and camped at Oboth. They left Oboth and camped at Iya Abiram on the border of Moab. They left Iya Abiram and camped at Dibon Gad. They left Dibon Gad and camped at Almon Diblathan. They left Almon Diblathan and camped at the mountains of Abiram near Nebo. They left the mountains of Abiram and camped at the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. There on the plains of Moab, they camped along the Jordan from Beth Jeshimoth to Abel Shittim. On the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into Canaan, drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you. Destroy all their carved images and their cast idols, and demolish all their high places. Take possession of the land and settle in it, for I have given you the land to possess. Distribute the land by lot according to your clans. To a larger group, give a larger inheritance. To a smaller group, a smaller one. Whatever falls to them by lot will be theirs. Distribute it according to your ancestral tribes. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will give you trouble in the land where you live, and then I will do to you what I plan to do to them." Okay, so that's the Bible reading for today, but got a couple of things to say on this. Jericho didn't exist at this time. And even if Jericho did exist at this time, it would not have had a wall. So we've got two outright lies right here. And of course, in Joshua, we're going to get into the Battle of Jericho, or whenever the fuck we get to it. I don't know. I don't really remember. So yeah. Even if there was a Jericho at this time, it wouldn't have had a wall. And so yeah. And the Israelites were never in Egypt en masse. And this is just plain old racist. This is just plain old racist. This is basically giving permission for the Jews who aren't even, okay, they're an ethnic group now. The Jews are an ethnic group now. No doubt about that. But at this time, they weren't even an ethnic group. They were just a bunch of Canaanites that band together. Okay? So then you've got a bunch of hissy fits going on saying, hey, we're doing this because our God told us to do this. And look at any war in history, people. It's all God told us. God told us. God told us. God told us to go to war. God told us to go to war. when the fuck are people gonna grow up and stop blaming everything on a God that does not exist? Anyway, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Leave comments down in the comment section. It triggers YouTube algorithm, and I love hearing from you. And if you would like to join this channel, please do so. It will help me make this channel better. And I will see you tomorrow for Atheist Church. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.